We are kicking off with just breaking news. We have to fire in. It is now official. Ryan Bowen is on the pancakes. He's on the pancakes. So just cannot believe it. We are having our first ever live pancake dose. He looks like he's taking about 40 mils there just with his breakfast as he just shoves it right in there. It is all happening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ready Bang, the #1 arm wrestling live stream in the world. I am your host, the Aussie Arm Wrestler. And before I introduce my guest, you know, I've just got to get through everything. And of course, that is my YouTube and Patreon bangers. For just as little as 50 cents a week, you are contributing to the Aussie Arm Wrestler channel. Every single dollar goes straight back into the channel. And I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And even my guest is a YouTube banger because that's how awesome he is. And then, of course, if you head over, I've got the link in the description. It's got a mega sale that runs out any minute now. Any minute.
Yeah, I might turn it off at the end of the show.
That's right. I went to look for the goat spinner and I couldn't find it because everything's sold out. I was going to buy some equipment for myself, and it's just very, very hard to get in there. 50% off all clothing, 20% off the equipment. Just get over there. Link is in the description. And then finally, guys, if you can, let's go to the old share screen. Please, please, please head over to Arm Gods. Just head over to armgods.com. This is going to be number 5 when it comes to the promotions. armgods.com. Hopefully we'll see Ryan Bowen pulling at this event run by Marcus Thompson. All you got to do, look at that. Bang. That's all we're asking. Whack in an email and you even get manners. Thanks for submitting. armgods.com. I'll be plugging this throughout the show. Now, let's just welcome my guest before we start saying hi to the chat. This man, just where we go 24 hours without his name mentioned in the arm wrestling world. The master puppeteer just comes in and dominates. He had a relatively easy win, which we're going to talk about at King of the Table 5. And then he just thought, I just don't want to commentate at East versus West 5. So don't just give me an opponent. Give me the opponent in Zurab Tadvariti. And I'm talking about my good friend, Ryan Blue Bowen. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Jake, thank you for having me on as always, man. I love everything Aussie Arm Wrestler. And it's always a pleasure, mate. So thank you.
Do you love everything Aussie Arm Wrestler?
What have I done now? What did I do?
No. I just it's funny. It's probably the best segue because if you do love Aussie Arm Wrestler, what about this?
Look at this face. Look at this face. Look at that face.
Oh my goodness. I thought that's unreal. Isn't that one of your alter egos? What's his name from your Monday Night Live? Gilbert, there he is. Yeah.
Yeah, Gilbert. So, yeah, I mean, it's good that you say you love everything, even when I whipped out that, which is probably one of the highlights of my trip, was just that photo, was just everything about it. We've got a poll going, Ryan.
Yeah, mate. How's it
going? We've got a poll going. It says, will Ryan beat both athletes? We've got yes, only Khalid, only Zurab. No chance in hell. And 47% are saying that you will beat both athletes.
That's a pretty big number. 47%.
That is a very big number considering everything that goes on.
Man, things are good right now. Eh? They definitely are. I found my happy place in terms of you know what it's like. We're always refining. We're always looking for what circumstances or conditions make you feel the best within yourself. I feel like I found it. I've last two showings, I felt amazing. So I'm feeling good, feeling real good, optimistic.
Well, seeing you, as you can see the photo in the background, like spending some time with you in Dubai, like I knew you were going to beat Khalid because your body language was something that I hadn't seen in a while. Your optimism, your attitude, everything. Like I don't even think you touched the floor at Dubai. Like you were literally just floating. You were loving it. You were absolutely loving it. So yeah.
Yeah,
So then I was like,
Dubai did feel
Carl.
Dubai felt great in a lot of respects. But yeah, I've like I said, I've found my place, and I credit it to a lot of people, a lot of experiences that pushed me there. The biggest credit I'll give is Coach Ray. The way when he beat me at East West West, it was a catalyst to thinking, okay, so I've got to update some things, and Ray and Giannis and a few other people, they really just emphasized going back to being present in the moment, relaxing, and being really calm and measured in your performance. And that is the approach that I've gone to, and it's an approach that I'd funnily enough, I'd started out with that in my in early days arm wrestling. I was very calm and relaxed when I'd approach the table, and it takes the pressure off you when you do it, and it allows you to think clearly and allows you to make adjustments on the fly at an even more efficient rate than you usually do. And whether you won or lost the round, you walk into the next round with a clear mind and direction. And it's fun. It's fun because when you bring that presence, you start to see your opponent struggle. And when they sense how calm you are, I don't know if it rubs off on them, but it makes them more anxious. So it's a good formula.
Oh, definitely a good formula. If I get my skepticals on, if I chuck them on, yeah, you are rubbish when it comes to a weight cut. Like,
Yeah, I'm never doing it again.
Take that
I
out of your
have said
repertoire.
that before. I have said that to myself before, that I'll never do it again. And I hadn't done a weight cut in a long time. But then when that match was off at East West West against Ray at 90 kilos, and it was, I mean, to me, that promotion was such a premier promotion that I was like, yeah, I'm not passing this one up. I'm going to do it. And it was paid and everything. So I'm like, yeah, I'll make the 90 kilos. No worries. Yeah, but no, never again. I've told Engin, don't give me a match under 100 kilos. No way. I said, look, I said, even 100, like I'm 104 right now. I don't want to go to 100. Screw that. I just want to be whatever I am, and I'll pull someone in respect to that weight. And because what excites me most is long-term progression in the sport. And I feel like if I spend any time restricting to a particular weight category, I am reducing the progression that I could have had in that time. So I just want to be the best version of myself that I possibly can be, and we'll see where that ends up.
Yeah, and if the last 4 to 6 weeks have shown, we're heading in the right direction, which is good. So finally, purchasing the number one ticket holder for the Ryan Bowen Express train is just starting to pay dividends.
Come through, man. If you sold your stocks after Ray, you'd be pissed off right now, wouldn't you?
Oh, you'd be shattered. You'd be just looking at the Westgate, that's for sure. No, I held on, and everyone was screaming, "Get rid of your loyalty, get off him, get off him!" And I'm like, no, I'm holding for dear life, like that middle bit of the string of cheese that you just pull out. Yeah, I was about in the middle there. One guy in the comment section, Sam Burnett, who's actually going to be on the show this time tomorrow for a fundraiser. He's off to Dubai to try and qualify for King of the Table. So shout out to Sam Burnett. Thanks, and shout out to every single person in the chat. I know you're all saying hi to each other. You're all giving me a ready bang. Absolutely love it. You guys.
I had to quickly mention Sam there. Thank you, Sam, for that comment. Sam's got me excited right now because he's going to Dubai, and there's another gentleman going to Dubai, Artem Taranenko.
Yes.
Both of them in the under 85 kilos. Oh, my goodness. Artem Taranenko has no idea what he's about to face. Sam is in fine form. Adam, I messaged Adam asking how you going to deal with Sam. You ready? And he was super cocky. He's like, dude, don't even bother. And he renamed his chat with me to Sam Burnett's dad instead of Adam. And I said, dude, you're in for a shock. Oh man, I think that match is going to be a ripper. If it stops, it's Sam. Sam has way better endurance than Adam. If it stops, it's Sam.
Well, Sam messaged Sam like to double check that we're still on, blah 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 blah. And I was like, mate, can you send me a couple of photos so we can make a cool thumbnail? And he sent me these photos, and I was just thinking, you're about 110 kilos. You are lying. You've mastered the seduction of a scale. Yeah.
I think he's got 18-inch biceps at 85 kilos.
That is ridiculous. Another Aussie in the chat reckons it's going to be a tough crowd in Dubai for Sam. All the best. Hopefully he dominates. Performance enhancing pancakes. Congratulations on 8,000 subscribers. I told him by the end of October he would have overtaken me. He's dominating.
Yeah, he's got a good formula. That pancake formula is working. I like it.
It works. See you later, Nathorn, if that's how you pronounce it. See you later, mate. He's out. Peace out to you. Take care, my man. Hello, Aussie. Best wishes to you and your family. Says that every show. Thank you very much, Thomas. Thomas Miles. Devin's 4-0. I quite like this one. Says, Ryan, I want to be whatever I am. What are your preferred pronouns? I thought that was quite clever. Yeah. I'm such an idiot. I just love little things. Let's do a quick King of the Table recap, Ryan, from your perspective. I think what most people don't understand, and we're going to get to the Khalid rematch, and we're going to talk about the Zurab just in a little bit later on. But I think what people don't really understand is you were almost mentally exhausted before we even got to the event. I wish I took the photos. So for those that don't know, Ryan was, whatever his YouTube stories or whatever, he wasn't gallivanting around the town. He wasn't partying and everything. I thought I worked hard while I was there. Ryan showed me how it's done. I think we had lunch together and said about 4 words because we were both working and things like that. But there's that one photo of you basically lying in the hallway because you're booted out of your room. We were on the same floor, so you went to my room, but I was downstairs trying to network with Matt Rhodes, and you just plugged in trying to make videos, and you're like, I need a nap before we get there. How knackered were you?
My eyes
mentally.
It was mentally, like for me, it was really important that that you strike while the iron is hot. It's something that I really put a lot of emphasis on. And what I mean in that respect is when you have a good opportunity like King of the Table, you've got the world watching, you've got the most valuable network in the sport in respect to business and marketing and that, you don't waste those opportunities. You don't let them pass by. So I absolutely put my foot on the accelerator in terms of social media effort. I don't know how many videos I made, but I don't know how many social media posts I made. It would have been hundreds in that 2-day period. And it wasn't just for myself. I was producing posts for all the other athletes to share as well. But I said to Don, the Core Sports CEO, I said, give me a target. Let me see if I can beat your target. What's a target you don't think I can hit? And he gave me a goal, and I said, all right, watch this. And I just went to town, and I just worked. I made a commitment in my head of, all right, I've got to get this many promotional videos done for this many athletes. And I think I had about 2 hours sleep in the 2 nights before the event. And then the day of King of the Table, the day of competing, in the local time, it was ready to go commenced at 11 p.m. So late night. And I'd been up all night the night before just doing content. And I think I finished it at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just had to have a 2-hour nap and then go and compete. And so I was mentally wrecked. I had to ask Jake to go down to the chemist to buy me some bloody eye drops because I couldn't. My eyes were just squares and they were stinging like crazy. So it was it was a massive, massive weekend. Mentally, it was. I loved it, but yeah, I was exhausted.
Yeah, it was interesting, but then it wasn't even that, because then you had to do the pre-show with me, which just quietly we crushed it. We treated that show like garlic. No, don't want to pile myself up. No, I thought that you had to do the pre-show, and then you had to be in the moment. Carla beating Schoolboy, and then watching Lachlan, unfortunately, because you're heavily invested in Lachlan, and that didn't go his way. And then you had the absolute banger. So, yeah, by the time you got to the table, it were I know I would have been crushed. I get crushed if I commentate and then try and compete. And you were fourth on the card. So when you first took the headphones off after everything that happened, and we had to be there 2 hours prior. I think it was 2 hours prior, because we were a part of the media team, so we had to be there quite early. Once you put that down, how were you feeling for the Carlin match?
Yeah, for that match, I was I was happy that I'm in a very deliberately relaxed state. That was the mental approach was not to hype up. I quite consciously made the effort to stay really, really calm. Tried to keep my heart rate low, didn't try to amp up, and just thought about exactly what I was going to do, and kept my heart rate low. So I think that worked well, because it allowed me to transition from the commentary to that. Had I have been trying to hype up, I think it would have been really difficult. So the smooth, calm approach allowed me to conserve energy, I think, and reduce my mental stress, because yeah, it would have been too much. I have in the past tried to commentate and compete, and I found it very difficult to balance, to go from one to the other. But
it's exhausting.
Just rolling in really calm and relaxed is like I can't emphasize how much it feels like it's almost like it's an epiphany, where it's like, oh wow, this is really affecting how well I can perform in a good way.
Yeah, and perform you did. I want to get to round 2 in a moment, but we'll just say some quick comments. Full-time W says, I think both are too much for Bowen. He should up his level more. Well, he's been in the gym flat out. I like this question and hate this question at the same time, from J.R. Williams. Says, Ozzy, can you ask Bowen if he's still on the same pathway becoming the number 1 arm wrestler in the world? I like that question. But like his absurd prediction made 3 years back, when an athlete says they want to be the best, I never, ever think that's absurd at all. When I started playing basketball, I wanted to be the best basketballer. When I first started arm wrestling, I wanted to be the best arm wrestler, and injuries and whatnot have limited that. There's something in the arm wrestling world, because other ones, people will film themselves and, I'm going to be the number 1 basketballer, or I'm going to be the number 1 footy player. And everyone's like, good luck and things like that. But I don't know if it's just because it's you. People just think it was absurd. But I had nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
question, is that still the goal?
Oh, yeah, of course the goal is to become number 1. So in respect to absurd predictions and goals and whatnot, I've had a million absurd predictions. If you had known me from day 1 in arm wrestling, there's probably 10 chapters of absurd predictions or goals that I had for myself that I've ticked off that were absurd when I first announced them. Go back and have a look at my video number 3, J.R. Williams. Go look at my 3rd video I ever released on YouTube. Look at the skinny kid-looking person that says he wants to be an Australian champion arm wrestler. I say at that time, I want to be an Australian champion for my weight category. Absurd statement.
Your supplements thought. That's hilarious. Yes. You thought Ryan looked daunted at East versus West. This video, I know the video. It's
yeah. And that was absurd.
And we've all done it. You've just got the wall in the background. It's like,
that goal.
I'm Ryan Bowen.
The goal that I announced there, relative to the level that I was at there, that gap was more absurd than the gap is now when I say I want to be number 1. For my weight category, that I want to be a world champ. the gap is way bigger in that original video. So my point is that, yeah, of course, my goal is to be number one. I find that people, like when I reflect on the Australian arm wrestling rankings, for instance, about 5 years ago, I remember putting a challenge out there. I released a photo, and I asked the Australian arm wrestling community. I said, it's 2021. And what are the overall ranks in Australia? Give us your prediction. And at the time, this is maybe 2017 or 2018 when I put this post out. And I wanted to see what everyone's predictions were for who would be number one in the country. And I think my prediction was I'll be number one, Lachlan will be number two, Jordan will be number three. And I think I said Mario would be number four.
Which is roughly...
I pretty much nailed it. And I said Ryan Scott will slip, Brett Coots will slip. And then I said there might be a few new guys that I don't know of. But anyway, and the point that I was making when I made that prediction was I think you can almost with certainty predict the future rankings based on people's genuine goals and their authentic goals. And when I say what I mean by genuine, I mean they personally believe wholeheartedly in chasing. The people who have the goal of just being a national champion will never be a world champion. They simply
gotta reach
won't.
for the stars.
The people who are aiming for a world title, there's a good chance they're going to go a lot higher. The people who dream of being an all-time great in the sport, good chance they win a whole bunch of world titles. The person who's brave enough to say, I want to knock off John, if there's someone with that dream out there, good chance they're going to be a badass no matter what. Like, you've got to be brave. You've got to be brave. So some people label it delusion. Some people label it craziness. Some people say that's awesome and inspirational. You take it how you want, but life's a whole lot more enjoyable when you get all these enriching experiences. And I remember John Brzenk sharing with me that the most enriching experience he's had in arm wrestling was climbing the ladder. And there is nothing, and I'm climbing the ladder currently, and it's so ridiculously enjoyable. Long answer to the question, yes, I am still aiming for number one.
Good. And it's funny because, like, I know I sometimes get criticized. I introduce as the number one arm wrestling show on the planet and things like that. And when I first started, I wanted to be the number one arm wrestling commentator, a number one arm wrestling announcer. And look, I'm not there yet, but I, as the photo in the background shows, I was at the number one arm wrestling event in the world. I went from the kitchen bench to the king of the table. And it's funny how, depending on the person, like everyone on my channel was backing me. Let's go. And then because you've said it, you've said it, it's a little bit different. But so what he was talking about, JR, is, let me show you something.
Oh, the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a look at this one, JR.
Which, the sort of things I've been through, how the training's been, how my supplements.
Look at him there, Monster Products.
If I had any injuries, that sort of stuff, and hopefully it'll be something.
Look at him! How much were you weighing there?
I'm about 84 kilos there, 85 kilos.
That is recognised on the international stage.
So he wants to be recognised on the international stage, Australian champ.
You guys are keen to come.
There you go.
At least keep tabs on me to see how.
And everyone having a bit of fun. And this was 8 years ago, this photo.
What I'll do is I'll give you...
it should be 2013.
There you go, 9 years ago.
I'm not that big, not that muscular, but...
It's quite funny.
Yeah. I think I've officially ticked off every goal that I listed in that video. One of them, the final one that I ticked off was to have Denis Saplenkov on my channel.
Oh, have I beat you?
You did. Well, you beat me. You did. You beat me to get Dennis on, but I got him on it like 2 days after you.
Yes. Got it. I finally won something. Let's quickly get to some comments. James Statham in the house. He says, Ryan, for those who haven't seen it, besides Des, you cornering Ray, why should people tune in to watch Ray versus Tom tomorrow?
Yeah. Right?
You were there,
That-
Ray.
Yeah, well, it's Ray versus Tom. Yeah, okay. Well, that thing with I gotta choose my words carefully because I don't want to give away any results. But really, like
it's a great match.
really brutal,
Very
really
great match.
brutal. Like to the point where I thought I was wondering whether ambulances were going to be called.
Yeah, it's.
I'll just say that. That's all.
I can't wait for it. Make sure you all tune in because then not straight after that, but an hour after that, Sandbird and I will be live. Nashville Arm Wrestling says Devon's coming down to 110 kilos, Ryan. Are you going up to 110? Devon versus Ryan.
I think I will be 110 in the future. The approach that I'm taking now feels so good. I'm adding all of this fundamental training. And I know I'm going to make substantial gains in hypertrophy and growth and weight through my chest and shoulders and back. It's so obvious that that's going to happen. I can feel the late onset muscle soreness like I haven't had ever before in my life with the training that's happening right now. And I'm certain that 110 is in my future. I don't know how long, maybe 3, 4, 5 months away. Will be 110.
What were you this morning? 104?
104 this morning, yeah.
104.
Yep.
You were packing it on a king of the table.
I want to be 107. 107 for Zurab is the plan.
107 for Zurab. Well, let's just fire into that one now. Zurab Tadvarese. Let's fire. May as well. We can backtrack. We can do what we want on this show. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. So I wake up. No, where was I? I was on a plane to Adelaide, and I check my phone. I somehow get this thing, and someone messages me and says, "Check this! What just got announced?" And suddenly I see a poster, and I don't know if I was tired on the plane or I'm checking it out, and it is my friend Ryan Bowen taking on Zurab Tadvarese. Was this planned before King of the Table and Engin didn't want to take any focus off King of the Table? Was this just a last minute, hey, you won at King of the Table, so let's get you a match? Did you tell us how this match came about?
For sure. Like it wasn't planned prior to King of the Table or anything like that. So it was something that came about afterwards. I had expressed to Engin on a number of occasions that if there was any way possible, I would love to have a match, given that I was coming over to commentate. I thought, wow, whilst I'm there, I might as well. Originally, he'd expressed to me that he had a cap on how many matches that he could do, so it was not possible. So that was all good. But then after I beat Khaled, I just was not going to accept that as an answer. I said, Engin, I want a match. Give me a match, damn it. And I said, look, oh yeah, I feel like I'm in really good form, in a good headspace. I'd love to test myself out against someone at this weight. And he came back with 3 names. And without hesitation, I said Zurab when he offered this 3 names, and he went, "Ooh!" He's like, "That's Zurab was the cream of the crop of the 3." So I without hesitation went to Zurab, and Engin went and approached Zurab and said, "I'll get back to you, Ryan, and let you know what he says." And I said, I wrote an article before Zurab had confirmed. You may have read the article where I said, I've got a match. It's a killer. And I basically described Zurab, and Engin came back to me and said, Ryan, what if Zurab doesn't accept? And I said, then just give me his number and I'll tell him why he wants to accept. But he accepted wholeheartedly. And speaking to Zurab, he's a really good dude. He's full of respect, and he's full of genuine admiration for the fact that this match has come about. Obviously, he backs himself, which is awesome as well. He's won a WAF title when he was 80 kilos, and now he's 100 kilos. So he's very high level arm wrestler. We saw what he did to Ron Barth and John Brzenk. We know he's the real deal. So I'm excited, man, about that. Just genuinely excited. But that's how it came about. I like to aim up. It is of course quite comical. I knew this would cause massive waves when you say, all right, if you just put a rope around East versus West, you go, loses to Coach Ray, pulls Zurab. Like that progression that progression would just make the trolls friggin' die and scream and just think, how is this possible? And what is going on? How does Ryan go from that to that? How does he get these matches?
Well, you could argue. I mean, two things. One, you got to be 20 kilos heavier. Two, Zurab lost his last match. So it's like a loser's bracket, East versus West, losers brackets. And for those that wanted to tune in, I was supposed to go live with Zurab. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is in the arm wrestling world. Things come up and we had to postpone, and we're going to work on a date to reschedule. So don't worry, I'll get Zurab on the channel in the future. It happened, and like with life, it just comes up. Life comes up. What are some of that? Well, Rick James wants to know: was there anyone? What were the other two names? You don't have to say. You don't have to say.
Yeah, I honestly can't. They were Eastern European, like solid caliber guys that aren't world champions. From one from Turkey and one from, who was the other gentleman from? I can't recall his name.
Everyone, you can come in the comments and make your own assumptions. Make your own assumptions there.
Yeah, but Zurab was one of the names presented to me as an option, and I, without hesitation, said yes because for a number of reasons. But yeah, the obvious reasons, like I said, there's the three main reasons were, look, he is an opportunity for me to grow substantially in stepping up the ladder. He has great marketing because he's pulled Ron and John and Chance, and everyone knows him, and we understand who he is. And stylistically, I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, Chance sure helped you out there. He made Zurab human after the last East versus West. Mark Doherty, this was my smoky if Khaled didn't pull you at King of the Table. That was going to be my smoky. You versus Alex Top Roll. Let's get to just a couple more comments because I want to know how you want to approach this against Zurab. Lagia, FA comic is too big for Ryan. is too big.
How big's FA?
Oh, he's like 120, I think.
I think it was FA. I think it was.
No, don't
I think it was. I think that was.
Connor thinks that FA Comic. Yeah. I agree with you, Connor. FA Comic is a harder match than Zurab.
He beat Herman Stevens, didn't he?
Yeah, he beat Herman Stevens. I think he beat Ron Barth left hand.
Okay. Yeah, so FA was one of them that was offered.
Yeah, so goes there. Retro Ricer, thank you very much. He says Blue's still ducking and taking easy matches like Zurab. Retro Rice, that's still gunning for you. Couple of Aussies. He's got to put up the money, Retro, and he will get there. So what's the? Thank you very much, Retro Rice, the ledge. What's the plan? The plan of attack for Zurab? You come in with someone that's just phenomenally strong. Seen some of his videos lifting at the gym. He's lifting cars, tanks. He's shot putting people across the room for training. What's the game plan?
Yeah, and this is one where I'm perfectly fine to say everything genuinely about what I will do, and I say that because I know that he's genuinely going the other way, and no one's going to change their style for this one. I think it's pretty clear that if it's in a hook, I've got zero chance. That's his domain. That's his lane. He's the shorter, more compact puller. Incredible power once in that hook. So I will be doing everything possible to deny him his hook. It'll come in the form. My arm is longer than his, so biomechanically my forearm length is longer. Hand size, I can't be certain. My hand is bigger. I'm making an assumption. My hand is slightly longer in the fingers. He is a pinky carving, forward, attacking arm wrestler. He can defend if he loses his hand. My intent is to take his wrist, turn him palm up, and if I haven't already pinned him, like the chance. Sure, if I'm unable to just top roll him to the pad, then it's going to be play the long game, keep him out of his shoulder. If he flop presses, turn him palm up. Yeah, it's pretty clear what I got to do. Pretty clear.
Wow, let's see.
It's just
Some more. Well, let's see what the chat has to say. So now, after 142 votes, only 30% will think you'll beat both athletes, and 44% think you have no chance in hell. So let's ask the chat who wins, Ryan or Zurab. Let's get this poll going whilst we're on the topic. Who wins, Ryan or Zurab? I think it's going to be a better match than what people think. I think it's going to be a lot more, especially if you can get to the spots that you want, obviously. So
yeah, well, the only way it's not a good match is if he curls his wrist in. If he's too strong that he just curls his wrist in and I can't even keep him flat, then it's going to be a one way night. And it'll be dominant on his behalf. If I keep him flat or if I take his wrist, it's going to be probably an incredibly highly entertaining match in terms of I don't think I'm anticipating the problem of finishing the match. I'm anticipating that even if I get his wrist back, that there's still a lot of work to be done. And so from there, it could be like the Ron Barth match where it just gets drawn out and drawn out and drawn out. So I'm ready for that. I'm training as though that is where the fight's going to be. A lot of endurance, a lot of static hold, a lot of pronated static holds, a lot of side pressure from pronated position. I recognize that it's going to come down to my bicep endurance against his shoulder commitment endurance. Whichever one of those things fails will result in the other person having the appropriate lane to be able to finish. And for him, if it is like that, it'll be a flop press finish. And for me, if it's like that, it'll be a shoulder press finish.
You do love a shoulder press because that means you can, especially if you're on the right side of the table, us looking at the camera, you do love a shoulder press. So then you can look directly into the camera and just go, you sit there. Miki Lomkarovic, superstar of Australian arm wrestling, caught up with him on Wednesday night. Says, good morning, gentlemen. Is there a weight cap, Ryan? A heavy Ryan can do it.
No weight cap. Turn up as best you can. So I anticipate, Mickey, I'm 104 thereabouts right now. I'm aiming for 107 by the time we get there. So
how much do you think Zurab will come in?
102, 103, something like that, I reckon.
102, 103. Speaking of 102, 103, that's how many people we have watching this. So if you can, guys, just quickly hop out of the live chat, hit the like button. We're having a chat here with Ryan Blue Bowen about everything that is upcoming. Everything has been, his trajectory is on the right way. So, guys, get a ticket, get on board. Retro Ricer again, thank you very much. Your dead set legend. He says, congrats on the recent win, by the way, Blue. Good work calling the match as well, Aussie. Putting Australian arm wrestling on the map. Thank you very much, mate. Obviously, Blue's doing it more than me, but the photo in the background. Maybe I'll put it. Let me just put it over the screen. That photo, because where is it? Where is it? Too much bloody stuff on me computer. All right, I'll just let it load. So for those playing at home, this photo here just means a hell of a lot more than what people think. It's not just because Ryan won, but it's because my very first arm wrestling podcast was with Ryan. Like we all know, did the commentary videos and had a bit of fun, and then sat there and interviewed one of my best mates winning at the premier arm wrestling super match event, pay-per-view, 20,000 pay-per-views, 50,000 pay-per-views, however many there were, and then got to call, got to interview him after a win, have some fun. We got to do the pre-show together. You were trying to give me a chop out during the press conference because, only one person spoke during the press conference. And that was, two, you and me. So
No, it was definitely a moment that, like I said, it's one of those enriching experiences in life. That one was high on the scale of enriching experiences. So, yeah, mate, I agree. I'll never forget that one.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. And we'll get back to King of the Table because we're going to have a rematch in there. Let me just get to some of the comments. How many days before a super match does Ryan stop training?
So that's an evolution for me as well. I have in my last 2 matches gone way closer than I usually would, with heavy effort. You might recall prior to Arm Wars and my match with Bogdan, people were freaking out that I was pulling with the Slough Slammers Club 5 days before, and I pulled for 5 hours. I pulled everyone in the damn club 5 days before. I will go right up to basically when I get on the plane. I will be training. I will stop. I will just. I won't really back off like Lachlan and Sebastian have programmed my next month leading up to this. And if I look at the week just before, it goes down to a 6 RPE. So it is a sensible thing. I'm not pushing anything. I'm not maxing any joints or anything like that, but I will still do my full rep range. The weight will just step down 15-20%.
There you go. That's just the way it is. So hopefully it's a good insight for you. Good question. Thank you very much again, Retro Rice Star. Just pumping them out. Thank you very much. He says, what I love about arm wrestling is that all the athletes are so strong and athletic, and yet everyone is completely nutty. Very impressive. It is, mate.
You missed the pancake opening of this show, I think.
Yeah, we had some non-natty experience.
I've seen a few people asking the question. A lot of people have asked me. I've answered it a few times. I'm not on anything right now. I don't intend to be on anything right now. I don't intend to go back to anything in the future. And I say that genuinely because I feel my best I've ever felt, and I've tried all the sides of the spectrum. I feel amazing off gear right now. I really do. What I am doing different that I've never done before is shoving my face full of food to a degree that is
he's not lying. I remember when we had lunch and I got me little burger and chips and me drink while we're doing a bit of work in your room, and then like yours came and I was like, oh yeah, and then like another bit came. And then like a pound of cake was there, and then you had your lollies, and then your beautiful wife made that awesome coconut slice. And here, try these. And I had to take the smallest one because you gave me the slap on the hand for stealing the big bit. And I'm a big believer if things behind the camera are going well. The love of a beautiful woman, like seeing you and speaking to you and Joe. Sometimes when we call each other, off camera, Joe's right there and we're all having a laugh. Your relationship with your family, you got to see your parents. Wayno's a really cool guy, and then the kids are going well, back at school. At school, it was recently school holidays here in Australia, guys. I'm not saying that Ryan's homeschooling them or whatever, but when things are going well, I think in your life, I know for me, that's my gear. If I've got to catch up with all my mates, all my family, and they're all doing well, Jess's health is going well, Zadie's health is going well, I feel, if I may quote someone, 44% stronger. They are. Are there any of those shirts left? Are there any of those shirts left?
I don't think so.
One way to find out, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the description. A mega sale. I'm going to talk to Ryan off camera because he needs to show me what's left because I'm going to order. I just need to add more equipment to my repertoire. Yeah. But thank you to Cole Howarth. For those who don't know, Cole Howarth is going to take on Bob Brown at the Monster Factory. So I'm going to have both of them on the show closer to the event. So thank you very much, Kyle. You're dead set legend. As we go through some, let's have a look. What are some people saying? I think Ryan is a good arm wrestler, but from what I've seen from Zurab and Ryan, I believe that Zurab's rotation is just too much.
Yeah, well, his rotation would imply that he's in a hook. So I agree with you if he's in a hook, but he can't rotate if his wrist is back. That's what I'll say.
It was awesome. Just quickly, Larratt, when was the moment that you stuffed up in round 2 versus Khalid? When I was like, he's bleeding, and then Ray and I were like, oh no, he's taking Ryan's hand. And you literally almost, like, everyone jokes, oh, under the table. Like, you literally went up to get out of there. You were like out there. It was awesome.
Yeah. So the moment that happened was because we all knew that I'd said to the internet prior that I was going to dad move. Khalid, I said to him, "You'll be that sore and tired. I'll dad move you." And so after round 1, I thought, "Oh yeah, it's on. I can do this. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it right now." Round 2, and I had all the position. I could have pinned with just some aggressive side pressure and bang, bang, bang with pronated side pressure like I did in rounds 3 and 4. I could have just done that. But I thought, no, now's the time. So I just got control. Once I took all of his pronation away, had him fully palm up, I then brought him right over to my side of the table. I thought now I started looking over at him and I was waiting for eye contact. I wanted eye contact and he never gave it to me. And I'm like, this bugger's just not giving up here. I'm like, I've got everything, Khaled. Look at me, damn it. That's what's going in my head. And he never looked at me. Or what he did instead was he just dug in. He just dug in with his arm. And next minute, I'm like, you know what? My head is starting to gas. without the strap, I'm like, this bastard has an arm that just won't go down. Like his open arm position has a lot of threat. It's pretty impressive. And I had to start thinking
MMA strength from defending arm bars and things like that. I would imagine.
And so when I in my head, I knew I'd stuffed up. When you see me start to commit forward onto a press, like an attempted press, I was starting to search for how the hell am I going to finish this round? What am I going to do? And then I'm like, I had to start retreating. I go back to center, and he tried to press me, and I was like, oh, that's good because he was coming off my hand. He was allowing my hand to rest when he tried to press me, and I was no dramas holding center against him. But then he went back to the hand. He went back to like a king's move attack, and there was nothing there in my hand. I had to let it go and just bail.
It was. And how strong did Khalid feel?
He felt strong in his lanes. His wrist flexion felt really strong, and hence I never even attacked his wrist flexion. His wrist rise, I felt dominant in, and I think that I would feel dominant in that again because that's a very specific arm wrestling strength. I think that his bicep strength is very impressive. His side pressure felt very poor relative to his other strengths. Was
that because he was just knackered from schoolboy?
No. His side pressure won't change fresh, and the reason I say that is because the version of side pressure that I'm talking about is the integrity of his elbow. When he and the moment where I really felt what that was worth to him was when I retreated to center to try to rest my hand in round 2. He tried to press me. He tried to take center off me by pushing through with his elbow, and it was very easy to me to block it. And when two people come at each other with their elbows like that, it's not muscular. It's joint integrity that determines who gets to control the center. And it was about 70% effort in terms of what I can tolerate on my elbow to block him. So that is a lane that I know I'm more dominant over him. So what I felt in Khalid, like assessing his physicality, was that he's everything we've said he is. He's got all this potential, but he still has lots of conditioning to build, still has lots of holes to fill. That said, the weapons he has of wrist flexion feels mega, and his open arm bicep feels mega. And the other thing that I say about Khalid that can often be taken the wrong way, I'll clarify it, is that he is basic in his technique, but he's actually a very highly intuitive arm wrestler and very, very talented arm wrestler. I say that, and what I mean by that is we see he has the ability to defend the King's move and bring it all the way back and transition all the way to a press finish. So he has all of the right intuitions. He's just, if you would liken it to painting, he's doing a very good finger painting. He's not painting with a fine brush. He needs refinement. He needs refinement in his movements that he just isn't even aware of movements that would be valuable to him yet. So he's easy to read and easy to control and easy to stay one step ahead of in a technical sense because he's never had the obsession to force himself to learn how to do more than a finger painting. But he's a very good finger painter.
A very good finger painter. I mean, he's got giant hands, so they almost look like paintbrushes. So the hand is real, guys. Like I got Carlin to put his hand over my face, and he was scratching the back of my head. Like that's how big it is. He was genuinely massive. One more reckons he says Carlin has the potential to be the champ. Do you think that potential is running high?
I think he does have the potential, but it's a huge if. The if is all in his desire, and it would take a long. It's not going to happen overnight either. He, as I said to Khaled himself when I trained with him afterwards, and his grip coach Beta. I said to him, "Look, you guys have the opportunity. It's right before you. The strength is there. The conditioning needs to be worked on." But I said that. And they asked me, is it just matches that Khaled needs? And I said, no, it's not. It's not more matches that he needs. I said it's obsession that he needs. He doesn't need the experience of just more ready goes. Of course, more ready goes are beneficial. I said he needs to have the mental switch where he's decided, no, I am going to win this. I'm going to become the best at this. Without that, he'll never develop the technical table IQ to the degree it needs to. Everyone in the top ranks in the world is substantially better at understanding arm wrestling than Khaled is. And he needs to be on that level. And if he does that, I believe, yes, he does have the physicality to be number one, for sure.
There you go. Will anything change for the Khaled rematch? I mean, it's all but locked in. Basically, the first match announced for King of the Table 6 will be you versus Khaled. We're just waiting on the finer details when it comes to contract. See you later. Wife and I go to take the dog. I'm not, but go to take dog for a walk. So, g'day, Marcus. He's just jumped in. Says not long in from training. He's becoming an arm wrestler. So we might have to set that match up, Ryan. You versus Marcus. Glad that he is training. So will anything change? So you felt Khaled on the table. Will your way of attacking him change anything different? Because he won't have. I don't think
nothing will change in my shape. You'll see everything the same. It'll look almost identical in terms of the strategy. I don't think that Khaled will be able to make an adjustment quick enough, work out a plan that will really do anything. He knows what I'm going to be bringing. Let's see what he can do to respond. I'll hit him the same way. My wrist rise is better than his. I won't try to slip him. I'll just hit sideways harder than he can. He'll catch. When he does catch, it'll be low to the table, and then he'll be in that open arm position. Now, the thing is, his biceps going to be more fresh. His hand's going to be more fresh than it was. So I'm anticipating a more robust defense from Khaled. But I do believe I'll win center and hit him over to that side of the table. Now, when that robust defense arrives, what you'll see is positional play from me. I'll move my elbow. I'll get control of his pronator and start climbing over his wrist. And I think that he'll end up ultimately just being pinned, looking very similar. That's what I think it will be. Yeah.
There you go. And it's quite funny. Actually, I'm very tempted to do a poll of like your people's favorite quotes. You know, what's your favorite Ryan Bowen quote? Because one of mine, and it comes from a comment here Spermy's ass is creamy. Says, thank you, Spermy's, you ledge. He says, I think Carlett is still too focused on MMA right now. So, which then coincides with one of my favourite quotes being you know where this is going, Ryan, being the Brisbane 8. And once again, the puppet master is back at it because I watched a very good video. I got a little bit of background information, but I watched a very, very interesting video. King of the Table may also be King of the Cage, King of the Mats. Ryan, what happened on your channel with one of the people from the Brisbane?
Yeah, man, Marcus
Thompson. Listen to this one.
Oh yes, Marcus Thompson, you will like this. If you haven't already heard, Marcus Atirai, the king of the Brisbane 8, as we like to refer to him here. He is in fine form. I just gripped up with him for the first time in a couple of months, and he feels phenomenal. And we're just discussing how everything went with Khaled. And of course, we can't help but, I mean, Marcus is such a nice guy. I've copped so much heat over the Brisbane 8 thing that I mentioned a couple of years ago, where when Khaled was held up as the biggest genetic potential in the sport, I said, well, there's 8 guys in Brisbane with more genetic potential than Khaled. And Marcus was the first of the list that I would rattle off. I copped so much heat. Marcus has copped a bit of heat by association because of that. But we chatted about
what? You cop bullets for being friends with Ryan Bowen. This is unheard of. This is no way.
You've got the Ned Kelly armor on over there, Jake. You do down there in Victoria, mate. But
my ringtones, ting, 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 all the bullets flying back off.
But Marcus, he was really interested to know what Khaled felt like because he's always observed Khaled and the story of him being this most significant genetic potential. And of course, when Devon Larratt visited in 2019 or 17, 18, whenever it was, he met
was the last time he came.
He met Marcus and couldn't believe Marcus's genetic potential. It was like he said at the time Marcus was the strongest novice he'd ever gripped. Anyway, Marcus was super curious to know what he felt like. And I said to him, you guys would be a phenomenal match. Honestly, Marcus and Caleb arm wrestling would be an amazing match. But then I said, man, he's MMA. You've got a fight background too, yeah? And he's like, yeah. I said, which would you prefer? If you could fight Khaled or arm wrestle Khaled, which one would you want? He's like, I would back my fighting ability against Khaled easy. He said, it would be easy. He said, off camera, he said to me he would knock him out in less than a minute. So
I think there's things that are off camera for a reason, Ryan.
But anyway, so he laid the challenge down. Devon shared a video about it too. Devon caught onto it and was like, oh my goodness, yes. We need Khaled versus Marcus in a fight. And look, let's just say the ball is rolling. The wheels are turning. Let's just say that.
King of the Table could be a multi-martial art event. We could have hand judo in the world of arm wrestling, because what people don't know is there's the entranceway for King of the Table is where we had our press conference, and then everyone knows the difference from the entrance to the arm wrestling table. But Ryan, at the press conference, what was about 10 meters to your right?
An octagon.
So the space has got the space. So yes, it was. So it could happen. They would just, I would assume, 2 sets of cameras. But what would you? I mean, what for the sake of the internet, you have to pull Khaled first before he fights Marcus.
I think that would have to be the way it would go. If it happens all at the King of the Table, yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah, you don't want a dude that's potentially going to get knocked out then have to arm wrestle. It's not going to happen.
Could you imagine? Now, I don't want anyone to get hurt. I hope it's like a really good thing, a really good fight. Because I've spent time with Marcus, and actually meeting Khaled off camera is actually like a fun. He can be a really fun guy. he can be a really fun guy. So could you imagine the internet if Marcus comes in, whack, then Khaled's like, he's got the T-Rex arms because he's been knocked out. They do the
I
whole
wrestled
thing, and then he 40 minutes later, he's got the all clear from the doctors, and you pull him after being knocked out. Oh, wow.
I love it.
That would genuinely, I don't know if I would hate that or want that.
No. So that won't be how it goes. We'll definitely, like I said, the wheels are turning. And by wheels we mean we're talking to Khaled, we're talking to his management, talking to his MMA crew, and wheels are turning. And we'll see what comes out of the camp from their side. But I think we'll see something from them. We'll see some sort of response from them. Public response in respect to this match. We'll see. I believe they're looking into Marcus to see whether they believe Marcus is a good opponent, a worthy opponent for Khaled.
Well, let us know in the comments, guys. Let us know in the comments. If you bought the King of the Table pay-per-view, would you be annoyed if, say intermission or something was an MMA fight? 3 rounds, 5 minutes. Would you love it or not? Let us know in the comments. Josh, the Flat Earth Jedi, comes in and says, this is bad for Bowen. Now Levan will have access to first-hand knowledge of what it feels like to pull Bowen and possibly give him a chance to improve all those areas enough to put up a fight. Ryan versus Levan. I believe the word's inevitable, I think.
Inevitable.
Could you imagine?
At least on the side table. Look, Levan will be at East West West as a guest. I've got a match, obviously, so I won't be doing any pre-side table pulling, but I would definitely love to grip him, irrespective of the result with Zero.
It's interesting because, it's pretty cool because Lagi is like, I've got no interest in that at all. And then, Not My Monkeys is like, I'd watch it. So, yeah. Not the same guy doing 2 matches. Yeah, Khaled can't help himself. But why not? It's like Khaled turns up to work and then your boss says, oh, so-and-so can't make the night shift. Do you want to stick around and keep working? Okay. So... Yeah,
but as they stand at the moment, they're considered. They're primarily being considered as 2 separate standalone events. I would imagine so.
Yeah. So it's very mixed emotions, which is pretty good. Should not be on the same paper. Imagine, because it's hard, because that would actually be a really good pre-show. It doesn't make sense being a pre-show, but then if Khaled got knocked out, then. Yeah. Morning to you, Drunken Boxing, and everyone's sitting there. So one of the guests, Ryan, that did come to the King of the Table, the ultimate guest, was the great Denis Aplenkov. You got to grip up with Denis Aplenkov. Denis Aplenkov, there you go. There's a goal you can tick off. You'll be on the same card as Denis Aplenkov.
Yeah.
He announced that he pulls. And look, all the talkers in the world, everyone's speculating that it's going to be John Brzenk. We all hope that it's John Brzenk. So let's put our conspiracy hat on and say it is John Brzenk. How do you think that match would actually go after you know what John's like? You speak to John probably weekly, if not more, and you felt Denis on the table.
I got to go with John. Hey, Denis felt overwhelmingly and intimidatingly dominant. But I think John is faster, even in his old age when he's slowed down. I think John will still have the edge of dictating where the lane is. So I think Denis will still be catching, which allows John to kind of win center and have his pronation set, and Denis to be slightly turned up and underneath. And now that's kind of me. For me, that's where the match kind of truly starts, is with John banging to that position and Denis catching. Now from there, Yeah, I just back John. I just back John. Like John, Dennis only beat John the one time, I think. What was it? John's had his measure for the most part of their careers. John's full of confidence. You could see the way John bit back when Dennis made a reference to John not being the strongest. I think John. If you just read John's confidence, he's very confident that he can beat Dennis. And I think one of the best investment strategies in the world is to bet on John when he's confident.
There you go. So let's see if it happens. Guys, we're probably going to go for about another 5 to 10 minutes. A few more things to talk about. Quickly, Marcus, November 19th is Ryan versus Surab. They're going to open the card because Ryan's got commentary duties, and just quietly, just coming out of nowhere like a chair to the back in WWE, just becoming one of, if not the best commentator on the planet. Just really shocking everyone. Clearly, you need me as your tag team partner just to guide you in the right direction. Let's not get into that. Whatever, we're the dream team. But no, you're doing that. So Ryan versus Zurab will be first, Marcus, and that is November 19th.
And we're 37 days out. 37 days.
What do you guys think if John pulls at King of the Table 6? Hopefully the Aussie arm wrestler can get there. I'm going to be begging to get there. And who wins? John versus Devin. This one here. Rafa says John has no chance against Dennis. Literally none. For me, Rafa, if you turn up to the table, there's always a chance in sport. You just never know. But Connor's on the other side. He says John's got this. Devin's forearm wants to see Dennis do the King's move. What else?
You probably will.
Don't say. We respect John, but his last name is blah blah blah. There's that ongoing joke with a few people in Canada. I think Dennis against Dave Chafee or something like that makes more sense than John. No, there's like that could be like a stepping stone. So say if Dennis beats John, then it would be say Dennis versus Dave, then Dennis versus Devin, then Dennis versus Levant. That's how I would see it if Dennis kept winning. But the history and John being the greatest of all time and everyone thinking Dennis was the only person to topple him after 25 years, I think it makes more sense. And if you are a businessman, Dennis versus John sells you minimum 60. I think if they do it, I think Core Sports will make $1 million.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. Very possible. They're getting better at it. The sport is growing. They're getting way better at it. It's awesome, and I agree. John and Dennis is the main event every time, no matter who you put in that card. Look, if Levan and Jerry or Levan and Hermes are on that card, they will not be the main event. That's how important Dennis and John would be.
Yeah. So, yeah, John and Dennis is the main event. Yeah, absolutely. Peter thinks John will take it, even if Dennis drops into his King's move. I'll be interesting to see the weight difference. For those that say goodbye and everything, I do apologize. I just get caught up talking to my guests. So thank you for everyone that jumps in and then says that they're leaving. Not being rude. I'm not ignoring your comments. Thank you very much, everyone that jumps in. We really, really do appreciate it. Ryan's got his caps on. Is Bradley your admin at the moment? Just forget swapping holding shift and having the caps lock on. I absolutely do it. Jeremiah, who's leading the Maximum Bang leaderboard, says good night. Ryan, you need to jump in there. We've got prizes up for grabs. The caption game, mate, the best game on TV at the moment. Marcus Thompson, you fucking legend. Ridiculous. What you do for everyone's channel. Really, really do appreciate it, Marcus. I try and give you all the props. Ryan, you've experienced what Marcus is able to do. He allows me to spend time with my daughter and really focus on arm wrestling. Like sometimes things don't go your way. I got up at 3 a.m. to watch a podcast. I had a podcast postponed with Zurab. I shouldn't say cancelled because he will come on the show. You know what I mean? And sometimes they go in your way, and then Marcus and everyone else in the chat comes in with a bang. And yes, he says, Jake, your best mate, stealing your thunder on the mic. That's all right. That's all right. I'll get him back. Ryan, all the best, believe. As Jake mentioned, Arm Gods. I don't know if I have mentioned it. It's just been scrolling on the bottom, but absolutely, Arm Gods.
It does look pretty good. You brought it up the screen. I was impressed by the website and all of the manners from Marcus Thompson there, and the getting people and their email addresses and that. It looks really solid. So.
Yeah, and he's got some. Uncle John's going to be pulling there. He's got a match. There's going to be some big names there. Hopefully, we can snag some East versus West people in January. So, thank you very much, Marcus Thompson. You know, I crack it when I take your comment off there. All hail the vampire arm god. That's right, armgods.com. Just input your email. It's not that hard, guys. Armgods.com. It's really not that hard. John wins. John wins and Ryan wins and Devin wins. Well, that's the last thing I wanted to talk to you about, Ryan, before we wrap up. Just want to get through some comments. GT Channel says 6-0 Dennis. Easy. Marcus Thompson's tag team partner, the White Wolf, says came in late. Sorry, mates. Did anyone mention Arm Gods other than Marcus? We've got it to scroll. I'm telling you, it's going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Anything that Marcus is leading a charge on, I'm not doubting for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to get Marcus's chat back up. Thank you very much, White Wolf. You dead set legend. As we get in there, I thought I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't. Nah. So Devin's he was on Engin's channel. He says he's going to be more active. So hopefully January, February, March. So depending whether it's a match at East versus West in January, a match at King of the Table in February, it's all happening. If you arm fights, Ryan Bowen, you've got the keys to the kingdom. And you were booking Devin's match. He wants to sit around 115 kilos. And everyone, jump in the channel and giving you guys the keys to the kingdom. But you can only answer if you've hit the like button. First match after Levan, who are you booking Devin against?
Look, it's got to be Prudnik. Prudnik's the one. We've talked about it for a long time. As a community, I think technically it's a beautiful match because they both are incredible arm wrestling technicians. The match would likely stop. I mean, you'd have to say that Prudnik is the more offensive style puller of the two, but he's a really a balanced puller. He's neutral, where Devin is heavily defensive. So I think it's a drawn out match. I think it's a technical display of power as well. I think it's a phenomenal arm wrestling match. Very entertaining. That's who I would choose for sure.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. And I think everyone's in there. Prudnik or Ongabayev from a lot of people. Could you imagine if Devin pulled Ongabayev and Devin was holding one of Engin's world titles? I love it. Just from their banter. I love watching them two go at it because I just see it as harmless fun. I know Devin gets under the skin and Engin's happy to fire back. So I so long as they're not going to hate each other, like it just seems like good friends.
It's entertaining. It's very entertaining for sure. I love it. But yeah, I hope Devin does get involved in just the ecosystem of the sport a little more at the moment. Obviously, it took some damage that lost to Levan. And if 115 kilos is where he's going to be home, there's a whole lot of good matches for him down there that we'd all love to see. And yeah, Prudnik's one of them. There's no shortage of awesome matches, to be honest. Yeah, we'll see what comes. But I hope he does get involved. East vs West King of the Table. Devon's in a position within the sport where he could pull anywhere. He could pull his own independent promotion. He could pull anything, and everyone would love to watch it. So,
when Devon's on the screen, we all stop what we're doing and head over there. So, congratulations to anyone whoever lands Devon, I should say. Ryan, as we wrap up the show, what's the next 37 days looking like for you?
Religiously disciplined reps and sets as prescribed by Lachlan and Sebastian. I'm trusting in these two gentlemen as experts in their fields to deliver the best and strongest version of me there's ever been. Only after a week in their program, I feel different. I feel full through my shoulders. I'm alive through my back. I feel like my base power is just starting to wake up. We're just shaking the rust off all those functions that have been there and neglected for the last 9.5 years. I feel like it's going to be a very fun 37 days, and I am, with every day that goes past, I'm literally just getting more and more excited. So I don't know I don't know where I'll be. Well, Marcus, I just saw how many push-ups now there. I'm not doing push-ups. It's all under the bar. It's all under the bar. The push-ups hurt my wrist, where the bench press doesn't. So, I'm not doing the push-ups at the moment. Yeah.
Benji Mac, you bring up a point here, and I just want to quickly explain before we wrap up. It says, which King of the Table East versus West would rotate the Vegas and back to Dubai, etc.? I tell you the one reason why it won't. Too many people. Two things. Too many people not buying the pay-per-view, and too many people ripping off the event. Like, midway through King of the Table, Adam Silver was like, so many people are illegally streaming our platform. Unfortunately, not enough people are buying it, and to get all that gear over to America, it'd be awesome. I think it'd be great. Give, some of the North American athletes a bit of a home ground advantage. But because Core Sports really look after you. Like, you're not just in a motel, you're in a 5-star hotel. Ryan and I were in I was accidentally upgraded to the millennials, right up the top. Your food gets looked after. You're there not just for overnight, you're there for days. So I can't imagine how much of course, then they pay for your flights. So yeah, if more people buy the pay-per-views, a lot more, and we all work together, and calling out people that are illegally, because there's only the athletes themselves, Larry Wheels, and maybe one or two other people are allowed access to the content, and that's about it. So we will go from there. And I'm just trying to see if there's any last questions for you. Everyone's just having a bit of fun. Thank you very much, Ryan, you dead set legend, for joining the show. Really loved what we were able to achieve at King of the Table. It was something else. It really was, considering, I think I made that joke that, we had 40,000 subscribers between us when we first did a show together. I had 43 subscribers. So at the time, and then from there, we were on King of the Table. I don't know if I've taken my shirt off since then. I can't help it. I'm very, very excited.
I'm off to the casino today. I had 88,888 subscribers as of this morning. So
I did see that, and I'm at 8,800. So I just can't help but copy you.
It's meant to be. It's meant to be.
I just can't help. But my goal is to get to 10,000 by Christmas. That's the goal.
And that's the same. Mine's 100,000 by Christmas.
That's
the goal.
We'll get in there. Guys, thank you very much. Of course, if you subscribe to my channel, you're probably subscribed. Oh, ironically, there's 88 people watching the show right now.
Stop it, Jake.
This is weird. This is weird.
I need to buy a lottery ticket right now.
Quick, do it. Oh, last night was $50 million, so we missed out. Love you all, guys. Thank you all so much for watching the show. Thank you very much for supporting me. And whether you love or hate Ryan Bowen, thank you for supporting him, because either way, you pay his bills, whether you love him or hate him. So we're going to wrap up from there, guys. You may catch Ryan on the fix if he's not too busy. I know he's very, very focused on the match. And we'll speak to you soon, guys.
Cheers, guys.